In the spring of 1848, two teenage sisters, Maggie 14 and Kate Fox 11, from Hydesville, New York, claimed they could talk to the dead. At first, it was just a few ghostly knocks and taps in their house at night, but soon the girls said they were getting messages from the spirit of a murdered peddler buried beneath their house, and they were ready to answer questions. Their story would spark a national obsession with the afterlife and give birth to the Spiritualism movement, which swept across 19th century America and Europe. Here's how it went down. First, the haunted house. The story goes that one night the girls were home alone when they heard a knock-knock, then tap, tap, tap. At first they thought it was mice or maybe a newt, but then it happened again. So they devised a system. One rap meant yes, two raps meant no. And wouldn't you know it, they soon received a message from beyond the grave. It was the spirit of a peddler who'd been murdered and buried on the property. Intrigued, the sisters invited their neighbors over to see if they, too, could communicate with the peddler. And every night the neighbors gathered to hear the ghostly rapping and the girls conversed with the spirit. A local minister even wrote a glowing account of the phenomenon for a nearby newspaper, and that's how the Fox sisters became overnight sensations. Next, rise to fame. Word spread quickly and soon people from all over were coming to the sisters' house to witness the rapping and to ask the spirit questions. Scientists came to investigate, skeptics to disprove, celebrities and clergy to be converted. The girls even met with Horace Greeley, the famous editor of the New York Tribune, who became an ardent spiritualist. Thousands of people attended the sisters, so many that the family moved to a larger house. Then they started performing in Rochester and Albany and finally New York City. Everywhere they went, crowds followed. Most believed the Fox sisters were proof of life after death, a chance to speak with loved ones who had passed on. And that belief inspired a movement. By the 1850s and 1860s, spiritualism had become a mainstream belief system in America. It blended well with other progressive causes of the time, like anti-slavery and women's rights, were led by women, many of them young and unmarried, something that shocked some observers but made others very interested. At its peak in the 1870s, spiritualism claimed 1/5 of Americans as followers. The movement spread to Europe, where it inspired artists and writers, including Oscar Wilde and Dante Gabriel. The Civil War also fueled interest in spiritualism, as grieving families turned to mediums to contact their fallen loved ones. Under these desperate circumstances, the Fox sisters' story took on a new urgency and power. Then came the confession. In 1888, Maggie Fox, now in her 50s, and struggling financially, dropped a bombshell. It was all a hoax, she told reporters. We never saw or talked with any spirit. She revealed that she and Kate had faked the rapping sounds by cracking their toe joints. She even demonstrated it on stage for reporters. But then, strangely, she recanted her confession a year later, likely under pressure from spiritualist supporters. The damage was done. The Fox sisters had changed the culture. Spiritualism continued to grow, influencing 19th century literature and art. The founding of Lilydale, a spiritualist community that's still active today. An early psychical research, which eventually led to modern parapsychology. Today, the sisters are seen as both frauds and founders, two girls who pretended to talk to the dead but inadvertently tapped into a deep longing for meaning, connection, and mystery. Why it matters. The story of the Fox sisters reminds us how belief, performance, and grief can converge in powerful ways. It shows us how mass movements can emerge from small, personal deceptions and how even fraudulent beginnings can spark sincere spiritual and cultural revolutions.